Hi there, tarot lovers. Right, our card of the day today is the Seven of Swords. So, here we've got a guy who's sneaking away with 5 swords in his hand. There's 2 more planted in the ground behind him. This is the thief. This is the guy who is stealing 5 swords from the camp and secretly keeping them for himself. Now, in this card there is a lot more going on, and these swords are not necessarily material stories, but they represent ideas and truth, and the sword is the element of air and the element of the mind. It's very subtle, and what's being stolen here, what's being taken here, is also quite subtle. You know, it's not black and white what is being taken here. And this thief is a thief of ideas, and a thief of beliefs, and a thief of mental constructs and programs. And this is a guy who is that part of us inside of us who gives importance to other people's ideas and the way other people think. Now, if we go back a little bit in time, we all do this a little bit, and it's a natural dynamic. And it's a natural dynamic because when we're kids, we have to borrow ideas from our parents. We have to form a construct of what we understand is real, of who we are and our identity. And this identity is very based upon what we're taught. And so we need to borrow ideas from our parents. We need to take belief systems from those peers around us, our friends and our teachers and you know, our family members. They're going to be the strongest one. Some of those identities and some of those belief patterns really resonate, and we feel in tune with it, and it feels and brings us harmony in our life, and others don't bring us harmony at all. So we're going to have a different type of reaction to these beliefs that we are taking naturally as children, and growing and understanding and learning who we are. And although this is a never-ending process of where we will always be learning more and more and understanding more and more who we are until the day we die, there is a time when we move from maybe being part of a collective consciousness through unconsciousness, you know, or through lack of choice, to when we actually learn to choose and decide what we want our individuality to be. And this is when we go through adolescence usually, and it's when we individuate, or when we find our own personality, or when we learn to discern what ideas we're going to grab and what ideas we're not going to grab, what work for us and what don't work for us, as far as those that are, you know, in front of our faces and those that we have learned so far. And in this individuation process, which can take place at a younger age or an older age, depending upon how we've reacted and how much craziness and how harmonious has been our childhood environment, according to when this happens, will mean that, okay, our different resources or influences in life will come from different places, and they may come from more from school, from our peers and from those people that we hang out with there, or from our parents, or from our grandparents maybe, or from our teachers. And these influences will be, whoever we choose to look up to, will be those people that we grab more of this energy from. And this is where we're stealing and borrowing ideas from. This is all natural. And at one time in our lives, we have to let go of this. And one time in our life, we have to decide more or less who we are, who we want to be, where we want to be going, what is the most important for us, what aspects are we willing to call us, our personality. And this is where the ego grounds itself and feels more like a safe and understood individual. But there are aspects and times in our life where we feel insecure about who we are, where we're not quite sure whether what we believe in is the best thing or the right thing, and we doubt ourselves. And in these moments of doubt, we're likely to give more importance to what other people might think, and we're likely to be easily influenced and easily manipulated by the world around us. And then in those moments, we'll attract something that will be like, oh, that's a good idea, and maybe it is a good idea, maybe it's not a good idea, and we will learn and we'll grow and we'll move forward. But the more insecure that we are about who we are, about our own truth, about our own one sword, then the more likeliness is we are to give over our power and give more importance to other people's ideas and other people's beliefs, not just about life in general, but about who we are. And this is where we grab the swords and we're carrying them like this guy by the blades. This is not the safest way to carry a sword, yeah, and we're going to get cut, because as we give importance to somebody else's sword and we naturally go out to take something from somebody else on an unconscious level, we're naturally going to have some more negative consequences come from that. And this is going to be by forgetting who we are, forgetting our own truth, or maybe not even ever knowing who we are or what our own truth is. And it's okay to admit this, but it's super important to realize how much we are borrowing from the world around us, how much we are unconsciously taking from life around us. And that's what this card is asking us to be. How much are we actually grabbing? How much importance are we giving to other people's opinions of us instead of our own opinion of us? You know, do we feel great about ourselves one day, and then the next day somebody says something and our self-esteem has dropped down to the bottom again, because we naturally think that somebody else's opinion is more important than our own experience of who we are. And this is natural. This is something that we all have on some level, but this is where we're going to be lying to ourselves. We are in a way deceitful to our own truth. We're not being honest with who we are, with our single sword, and this dishonesty will naturally reflect in some of the actions that we'll do, and we'll be dishonest towards other people around us who may be, maybe see us and experience us as being dishonest people, because we are giving more importance to the ideas of other people instead of who we actually are. And this grounding of our ego in our own individual essence is super important, and this feeling of security that will allow us to connect to our truth, understand our own programming, understand and how to discern and how to let go of what we do want, what we don't want, and hold on to what we do want, to be able to decipher which of these swords is going to actually be useful for us, because we're always going to be learning from other people, we're always going to be growing, we're always going to be grabbing ideas from the world around us. That's not the problem. The problem is to discern which of these are we going to actually embody and own and make part of ourselves, and which ones we're going to actually go, no, this has nothing to do with me, I'm going to drop that. And this ability of discernment is something that the thief doesn't always have, and so he lives in a little bit of deception to himself and deception to life around him. And this is something to recognize when this card comes up, because it talks about this deception in our life, and we need to be aware of how we are deceiving ourselves and how we are lying to ourselves about what is the most important truth to us. I hope this message has hit you in a way where you can find a little bit more self-honesty and a little bit higher understanding about how we might trick ourselves into believing other people's ideas are more important than our own. Have a fantastic day, and it's all about consciousness and creating a little bit more self-love for yourselves.